you from, Joseph?
South Shields.
I thought.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
But let me be clear.
I enjoy cooking bacon and stuff, working with flour.
This is You're Welcome, America, the podcast that explains what the bloody hell Brits are banging on about.
In every episode, we translate British pop culture for America.
And American pop culture for Britain. You're welcome.
Hi, babes.
Hi. How have you been?
I've been good. We've spent the whole day together.
We have.
Let's be transparent.
We've said so many words to one another. Most exciting new news. You no longer live in the You're Welcome America studios.
No, I've moved out from my room that was just behind the bins.
Yeah.
Behind the studio bins.
Mm-hmm.
I have moved to the bright lights of Koreatown.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about the UK equivalent of Koreatown. Or specifically the kind of London equivalent of Koreatown, just kind of trying to think like what kind of area it seems like. I feel like I've got it's like a touch of the bonkersness of Brixton.
Yes.
With
I don't know, kind of like the walkability of Clerkenwell.
Clerkenwell.
Oh, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
Clerkenwell.
So. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Fine. It's kind of like Clerkenwell meets Brixton.
Yeah. Oh.
So,
chew on that.
A spicy mix.
Yeah, and your apartment building is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I showed you my apartment building in my apartment earlier. I was saying to you, my lobby looks like the lobby from the Tower of Terror at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Very like spooky and gothic, but also fake.
Well, I really appreciate you pointing at the fireplace that had like red lights in it as if it was fake fire. It was just really good.
Yeah, and I showed you my very strange pool on the roof that I've got.
Great views.
Which supposedly was used by the Olympians back in the 1920s because it was the only rooftop pool in Los Angeles.
and they have to rehearse. They have to rehearse in a rooftop pool.
Yeah, you've got to rehearse.
Gotta rehearse.
Well, if it's synchronized swimming, you're rehearsing, I suppose.
Wait, have I told you about the synchronized swimming that happens in the pool nearby here?
No.
I think I have.
Have you?
So basically, I go to like the local pool and go for lengths, and at the weekend sometimes the synchronized swimmers go and rehearse, and they rehearsed with one song, and they put like these special speakers in the pool so they can hear it underwater. What do you think that song is?
Dancing in the Moonlight.
I told you that.
Did you?
Wait, that's the song.
I just guessed that.
No.
Oh, maybe you've told me
Maybe
this.
I've told you.
That's...
But anyway.
This is Future Frazer. On review, we have discussed this before, so I'm clearly a liar. But I don't remember you telling me that.
That's so weird.
I heard that song at work the other day and I thought of you and I was like, oh my God, is Dancing in the Moonlight one of the most annoying songs that's ever made?
But in any case, why in the year 2020 are like teenagers like rehearsing to Dancing in the Moonlight in a pool?
Oh God, that's one of those songs that has like a beginning, the opening bars make my skin crawl.
Oh, horrible. But yeah, your new apartment's very exciting.
Yes, I'm very happy.
I wanted to fill you in a conversation we had at dinner last night. Not me and you, just other people.
Okay.
Eric asked us what I think the UK equivalent of the city of Phoenix is.
Okay.
Phoenix in Arizona.
Right.
And because we were talking about how the fact that in Phoenix, it's where loads of people go retire.
Right.
It's basically lots of white people,
Mm-hmm.
but traditionally there was a lot of Native American tribes there, I think.
Ooh.
So anyway, it's like quite a specific place, and it's very hot, and it's also completely unsustainable. Like the city's been built somewhere where no city should be built.
All right, so like nature's trying to take it down at every turn.
Exactly. So what do you think the UK equivalent of that is?
God.
It is a difficult one.
Yeah.
So we weirdly ended up saying the Canary Islands, like Gran Canaria, because we're thinking, is there somewhere where British people go and retire, but it's a country that kind of isn't their own?
That's a very good point. I think just anywhere in the Costa del Sol, actually, I would say.
Pretty good.
Costa del Sol / Spanish Islands. Yeah, you're right.
Have you ever been to Gran Canaria?
Gran Canaria.
Sorry, I say, well, is it Canaria?
Yeah.
Oh, I say, in Scotland we say Canaria.
Oh, the old Scottish excuse, I see. Whatever. I don't know if I've been... I think I haven't been to Gran Canaria.
What?
The reason... It's basically... I've been to Tenerife, Mallorca, Menorca, Ibiza, and I find it all very confusing. I don't think I've been to Gran Canaria.
How annoying is it when people say Tenerife?
I've never had anyone call it Tenerife.
Oh yeah, we went to Tenerife.
That is not a Scottish thing. That's madness.
Okay, we should tell everyone we have our usual listeners, but in every episode of You're Welcome America, we discuss an American topic and a British topic,
We do
and we
indeed.
work out the UK and US translations, and we just run away with it.
Yep.
Before we go do those, shall we do some feedback?
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to start off the feedback. We got a lovely WhatsApp from Tom in London.
Oh.
He sent us a picture of him and a friend of the podcast, Denise Welsh. So there they are.
Oh, wow.
How would you describe Denise's look in this picture?
She looks a lot like my mum, genuinely. So that's always what confuses me about Denise. So it's like looking at a picture of if my mum decided to do like a Ziggy Stardust kind of cosplay look mixed with kind of a draggy snakeskin vibe.
Love it.
There we go.
She's wearing a pink snakeskin jacket that almost kind of suggests that she's got her own like line at Pretty Little Thing or
Yeah.
something. But
So
anyway,
that was a drag con, wasn't
yes.
it?
So he said it's backstage at DragCon. Tom went up to her and said, "I know Ben and Frazer." And then once he also said, "You're welcome, America," she realized what I was talking about, and she was delighted to send you a photo of us.
Oh, amazing.
So it's lovely to have Denise with us as ever.
The weird connection is that Tom, the reason he was at DragCon is because his husband is Crystal.
Yeah.
And Crystal is our other famous guest from the podcast. So all our worlds were colliding.
So basically, we should have just gone to DragCon to find more guests.
Yeah, we've made a real mistake there.
Yeah. Nina also got in touch because we obviously talked about her in the last episode and the fact that she'd done a Mr. Motivator workout on vacation. Okay, so here she is. Loving the pod this week, guys. Always fun to get a mention. The Mr. Motor DVD was filmed in Runaway Bay in Jamaica at the hotel I was staying in. My cousins and I were featured for the finale, and we all did some calypso moves and ran into the sea in the end. It was the best day.
Calypso moves.
Some calypso moves.
Very
What does
specific.
that mean? Wait, and then she sent me, because I was like, I wanted to know more details because I really thought it was the one that I used to do as a kid. She sent me, it's the Mr. Motivator, the new BLT workout from 2006. That wasn't the one
Right.
that I did.
BLT. Oh, bums, legs, and tums.
Yeah, bums, legs, and tums. Oh, yeah, and it says, for this first time ever in DVD, the brand new BLT workout features real people.
Yeah, we can
Shanina,
confirm.
achieving real results, shot in beautiful Jamaica, and all to the sound of soca calypso music.
Oh, yeah, so she wasn't. Okay, she was
So there
right.
we are. Right, what more feedback have we got?
So Lydia in London, my friend Lydia, she replied to our story. It's a little picture of the bar in Gelson's, and she wants to know the UK translation of noshing.
Because it's the noshing and imbibing bar.
She knows what the UK translation of noshing is. I'm not going to justify that one.
Yeah.
She knows what she did. Quote, the hills. Speaking of Crystal, something we forgot to mention before, we did get a little bit of feedback that Crystal forwarded us from Twitter, or Twitter, as they say here. So Erin Marie on Twitter got in touch with Crystal and says, on their podcast, Crystal will see you now's friends educated me on Iceland Foods, grocery store in the UK. Lo and behold, there is one down the street from my mate's house within walking distance. I am ready. Here I come, London.
Oh.
Hashtag You're Welcome America, hashtag podcast, hashtag grocery store obsessions, which I really like the hashtag grocery store obsession. That's like, I'm into that.
Wait, I wonder where she lives then. I wonder where she normally exists.
I think it means that she's moved from here to the UK. I think that's what's happened.
okay.
Well, Erin, you let us know. Not
Yeah.
on Twitter because we don't have one.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, and old friend of the pod now, Disco Drive Through, was sent us a quick message saying that he's having a Christmas trip around the US and just kind of pointed out some strange things. One of the things is flapjacks, biscuits, scones, confusing what's going to arrive. That's very true.
What do you mean confusing what's going to arrive?
Depending on what you order.
Oh, I see.
So I actually agree with that because I was trying to explain at work what flapjacks are, and flapjacks here are pancakes.
What?
Yeah, flapjacks are pancakes. So
No.
like you can't if you ordered flapjacks in a restaurant here, you would get pancakes.
I didn't know that.
But they also know that they're called pancakes too. Very strange.
Disco Drive Through, thank you for always getting in touch.
Yeah, and
Do
just
appreciate it.
Yeah, he had one final point. It says you have a broiler setting on an oven, which is grilling, and grilled cheese is actually fried and not grilled. Why does nothing make sense?
Nothing does make sense. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay, we've also set in play our New Year, New You're Welcome America competition in the last episode. We are replacing Theresa May in our opening titles.
R.I.P. Theresa.
R.I.P. Theresa. Bye-bye. We are looking for a really perfect American or British pop culture sound bite to put in there. So we've had a few suggestions. We'd love some more before we settle on one.
Yeah.
So do get in touch if you have a really good, a really perfect British or American clip that we can use in our opening titles. I mean, you've heard the other ones. You know what we're after.
And also, I think you do know this, but I did DM Samantha Mumba the other day thinking she'd be a really fun guest for the podcast. No response just yet. So let's just keep checking in to see if Samantha Mumba's seen my DM.
That's just Samantha Mumba watch. Got it. Perfect. Oh, and if anyone else can think of a really good celebrity that they know they're friends with, we're talking to you, Billy. Do get in touch because we'd love to have them on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. And Killian, I know you're friends with Samantha Mumba on Facebook. Send her a message and tell her to come on our podcast. We need her.
If everyone could just harass Samantha Mumba digitally, but in a nice way, and yeah, just like really get us on her radar, that would be great. I know we're asking a lot of the audience, whether it's, submitting a sound clip or
Mumba watch.
Right, should we get on with the show?
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And we're back. Every week we do an American topic or a British topic. And first up is Ben with an American topic.
Okay. Do you know what it is right now? It's awards season. And that means that the Oscars are going to happen. Lots of other awards, but the Oscars, they're the one.
Oh, yeah.
Where do the Oscars take place?
Why, I think they take place in Hollywood.
Hollywood. My topic today is Hollywood.
Oh my God.
It's a pretty big topic, I will say.
That's a unwieldy topic. How are you going to get that one going?
Okay, well, let's start off. What do you think of when you think of Hollywood? What's the first thing you think of?
First thing I think of.
Yes.
That would be the lovely, iconic Hollywood sign.
Thank you for answering correctly. Okay, so we all know the Hollywood sign. Here's a little story. So basically, in 1923, a large sign that actually read Hollywood Land was built in the Hollywood Hills. And basically, its purpose was to advertise a housing development, and then it fell into disrepair, and then basically the city of LA was like, do you know what, it's kind of good, let's give it a zhuzh. So they gave it a zhuzh in 1949, and now it's become a very sort of important symbol, not so much of the housing estate, but of like the district.
Yes, they took the land off there, right?
They took the land off there, and it just says Hollywood.
Well, I have to say, one of my favorite things since I moved here is when you are going about like a day-to-day business and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do some errands, and when you're like driving in a car and you just like glance out of the window and you see the Hollywood sign, it still, even after a year of living here, gives me like a thrill in the pit of my stomach. I'm like, oh, there's the Hollywood sign.
I completely agree. This morning when I was driving to our dance class along the 101 freeway, I was driving along, and then suddenly the Hollywood sign appeared on the right-hand side. At that exact moment, there was a guy on the left-hand side of the freeway taking a shit. And I thought that pretty much sums up Hollywood.
Yeah, it really does.
Because here's the thing about Hollywood. Most people, if they haven't been, or if they think about it, they think it's a very glamorous, gorgeous place.
Mm-hmm.
However, we know the truth.
Yeah.
Hollywood is a district in LA. It's a neighborhood in very central LA. My office is there, so I'm there every day. It traditionally was where a lot of the movie studios were, and there still are a lot today. But it's been a bit of a seedy place over the years. If you think of the movie, what's that family-friendly movie about prostitution called again?
Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman. If you think about Pretty Woman, that's where she does her business in Hollywood. And that's kind of traditionally what Hollywood was about. In the sort of past 5-10 years, they've really tried to redevelop it and gentrify it. And now there's lots of expensive flats and all kinds of things. So I was going to run through some of the key landmarks in Hollywood.
Okay.
And we will...
I'm ready.
Oh, actually, first of all, have you ever done any of those open-air bus tours in LA?
No, I kind of still want to do one.
They're really fun.
Yeah, I want to go on the TMZ one.
Oh.
Because I feel like it's like super trashy. I feel like it'll take you to like... I want to go on one where it's like, here's where like Hugh Grant got a blowjob from the prostitute. Here's like sex worker, sorry. And like, here's where like Lindsay Lohan was driving the wrong way down the freeway. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I like the idea of that kind of the TMZ version of Hollywood.
When I first moved here, there was a period of time where I wasn't working for a number of weeks, and one of my friends, Jen, visited. So we did a couple of them, and they start in Hollywood,
Right.
like in the tourist area in Hollywood, and you get on them and you go around, and they're really fun because you sit on the top deck and you kind of actually get, particularly if you haven't been here for very long, and I've only been there for like 3 months, you get like a good geography sense of
Yeah.
LA. But some of the stuff that's said on the guides is really funny and outdated. Like we were driving past the Beverly Center, this giant mall.
Yeah.
Oh, which should definitely be a topic of mine one week.
Oh yeah, the Beverly Center.
And it's driving past the Beverly Center, and it was like, this is where all the stars go to shop. And it's like, in that giant outdated mall, I don't think so. Okay, some of the key sites in Hollywood, we've obviously talked about the sign, the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel.
Okay.
Now that's actually where the very first Oscars took place.
Oh.
Have you ever been to that hotel?
No, I haven't.
You would love it.
Okay.
Bearing in mind that you now live in a building that you said feels like a haunted mansion or the
Disneyland,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's very much the vibe of that hotel.
Oh, great.
It's on Hollywood Boulevard,
Yeah.
right in the middle, the kind of main strip. It's this giant spooky hotel. It's really insane and kind of fun. And when our friend Seamus was in town, he
Yep.
stayed there and had like a
course.
really weird, fun room. But there was lots of events going on at the time. So I remember he told me it took him 20 minutes to get an elevator, translation lift, to his room because there were just so many people in the hotel. And he got really angry about that, which I loved. So there's the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel.
Yep.
That's also where... I think they still do like pool parties at the weekends, and it's where Lauren and people in the hills would go at the weekends to go to like a pool party.
Okay. Where was the Young Hollywood party? Do you remember the Young Hollywood party? That was at a pool in a hotel from season 1 of The Hills. Do you remember it's the one where Heidi like crashed it
Wait a
and got
minute.
Lauren into trouble with
I'm
Lisa
googling.
Love?
Let me look right now. I do know that in the finale of The Hills, when they did like a live wraparound show, they did it from the pool.
Okay.
At Hollywood Roosevelt. Young Hollywood party.
Do you know what? I'm going to do it in post.
Okay, great.
I'm going to
Future
watch,
Frazer,
I'm gonna
if you
watch
could-
that episode and I'm going to
Perfect.
report back on it.
Future Frazer here again. I actually just watched the episode on Amazon Prime, and I can tell you it was indeed at the Roosevelt Hotel. Also, there's a scene where Elsie and Whitney are doing invites to the party, and they talk about how much they like Josh Duhamel, who's going, and then they do a close-up of Whitney writing Christina Aguilera's name on an envelope invitation.
So there is the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. It's like very distinctive, very big. And as I said, it's right on Hollywood Boulevard, which is just really terrifying and awful because it is very touristy and loud and insane. Sketchy. It's also a lot of people dressed up in costumes, and you have your picture like Captain Marvel, and you take your picture. But is it an official costume or an unofficial costume?
Hold on a second. Captain Marvel.
Yeah, wait.
Who's Captain Marvel?
Oh, wait, no. Is it Captain America?
No. Who's Captain Marvel?
I don't know. Who's Captain Marvel?
Describe Captain Marvel's powers and who played them in the movie to me.
Oh, I don't know. Like one of the basic Chris's played Captain Marvel, and he's probably got red armor and some powers. I don't know, straight powers.
Okay, you did a great fusion of, I think, 3 different things.
Okay.
So Captain America is Chris Evans. Captain Marvel was Brie Larson. So she's a real character. And it's Iron Man that wears the red suit.
All just the fucking same pile of shit to me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There we go. So Hollywood Boulevard is also where the Hollywood Walk of Fame is.
I've been waiting for you to mention this.
Have you been to
So-
the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
I came to America when I was 18.
Okay.
Before I went to university, I took my gap year, which is something we should talk about at some point.
Oh, you got ya?
My gap year.
Gap year.
Me and my friend Leah came, and we came out of America and visited lots of places. But when we came to LA, I remember specifically we walked the entire length of Hollywood Boulevard to look at every single star that we could.
What?
And the thing that no one tells you about that is that in your head, you think, when you've never been to LA before, you think, oh, the Walk of Fame, it's like along a pavement, you're going to be in front of all these glamorous, like it's the, Chinese theater, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to look at this, and I'll be like walking past all these beautiful buildings. But what they don't tell you is that at a certain point, the stars just go so far that you're walking past like empty parking lots and like Like just like dirty alleyways. You're like, oh, okay, Greta Garbo, and oh, she's outside like a sex shop.
Totally. When Jesse used to live nearby in that neighborhood, like actually 2 blocks down from the Walk of Fame. And so a couple of times like in the morning I'd get up and go for coffee, and like imagine getting up and like not being that awake and walking over the Hollywood Walk of Fame to get coffee.
Yeah, it's
and then you're
weird.
like, oh, I'm standing in the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, well, it's like, do you remember I told you, I think I may have said this on the podcast, how I tripped over Deborah Messing when I left Barry's boot camp one day.
Oh, the star Deborah Messing or the person. Could have been either. Okay, well, because you know about the Hollywood Walk of Fame, I was going to test you in a little game.
Okay.
And the game is called Walk of Fame or Walk of No Name. So you have to guess if the person has a star or not.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1, Beyonce. Walk of Fame or Walk of No Name?
Walk of No Name.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Correct. So she doesn't have one, but Destiny's Child do.
Wow, okay.
Which, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of which, remember like today when we heard Check on It in the dance class and we were like, oh, Fun Beyonce was the best. Why you looking like you like what you
From the
see?
Pink Panther movie.
Of course.
I think she's tried to erase that from the past. Wait,
I'll never forget.
was she in the Pink Panther movie?
Yeah, with Steve Martin.
But what was she doing in it?
She was the Panther.
No, she wasn't.
She was not the Pink Panther.
She playing the saxophone. Like, what
Yeah,
was she?
no, she was just in it, I think. Oh, God. Uh-oh.
I don't know. I never saw
We
it.
don't want the beehive to come for us. Let's move on.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Walk of Fame or Walk of No Name, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Walk of Fame.
Walk of No Name.
Oh, has he refused it on ethical grounds?
Probably. But all I know is it says he doesn't have one. However...
Billy Zane does.
I was going to say Kate Winslet does.
Okay.
Yeah,
But not Billy Zane.
not Billy Zane.
Oh,
the thing
wow.
is, if you do get a star in the Walk of Fame, you have to pay for it, and you also have to pay for the upkeep of
Yeah.
it for like many years. Okay, final one. Walk of Fame, Walk of No Name, Whitney Houston.
Walk of Fame.
Walk of No Name. According to Whitney Houston's family, the singer never wanted a star in the Walk of Fame. She didn't want people walking on her name. That's what her mum, Pat Houston, told the New York Times.
I mean, she's not wrong. And like we said, that Walk of Fame ain't that glamorous.
Yeah.
So having your name on it isn't that great.
I can also imagine like Whitney being really angry about the idea of someone like walking her name. She'd be like, "No, I'm not having that."
Have you ever had your picture taken with any of the stars on the Walk of Fame?
No, I've had a picture taken with. Oh, I think I've taken a picture of the Muppet star.
I think I've got a Britney Spears picture somewhere.
Oh, where is that?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've posed with Britney Spears.
And I've posed with the Kathy Griffin star in Palm Springs.
Right.
The
Of
Palm
course.
Springs Walk of Fame.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, other big things in Hollywood that are sort of famous or landmarks. The Pantages Theatre. Have you been to that?
No, I haven't.
So it's a big theater with if like Book of Mormon's on tour, it will pop up at the Pantages.
Right.
Now,
I love the word Pantages. It sounds
Pantages.
really Hollywood. I'm gonna go to the Pantages
yeah.
tonight.
Well, it's funny you should say that because every time I see the sign Pantages, I sing it
In the
as if-
style of Outrageous by Britney
Spears. Pantages when I'm at a party. Pantages when I'm at I think Matt Doris, that originally came from him, and now it's infected my brain, but it's stuck.
Oh my God.
The
that's funny.
Pantages Theatre is genuinely beautiful inside.
Right.
It's like all gold and gilt and everything, but it's always you go and it's like a really shit touring production of something. I think I went to see a touring production of Beauty and the Beast there. Oh, that's right. I had dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Wow.
And the
Your
Hollywood Walk
favourite.
of Fame, my fave. And then went along afterwards. I was with Nicole and we went to see Beauty and the Beast, the touring version. And it was one of those, it was pretty bad. I'm sure like one of the dancing plates like fell flat in their face at one point. It was really
Couldn't
great.
get up like a turtle.
Yeah, like, ooh.
Do you consider Madame Tussauds to be a Hollywood thing?
Oh,
Because
100%. Have you been to the one in Hollywood?
no, when we came here on a holiday once, it was me and Charlie and Emily and Nina, and we got hysterical by the fact that advertised outside really prominently was Kate Blanchett. We were just saying about how funny it was that like people are clawing down the doors to have their picture taken with Kate Blanchett.
A waxwork of
Yeah,
Kate
exactly.
Blanchett.
It's like, those tourists from the Midwest. I tell you what they want, Kate Blanchett. They're like, I love Blue Jasmine. I must have my picture taken with Kate Blanchett.
when people get their waxworks done, if it's done officially and like the celebrity like agrees to it and they're like all part of it, because sometimes they just do them without the celebrity's permission. But I remember when I worked on the Jonathan Ross show in the UK, a UK TV host, he was getting his, but he got all like scanned and measured up and everything. And then it got made up. But what you can do is you can give like notes and feedback to get tweaks.
Oh.
So his got like tweaked. And then when they revealed the tweaked version, we found it really funny, including him, because it didn't look like him at all. It genuinely looked like a woman. So we loved that on the show. It was one of our favorites. Okay, 2 other places I want to mention in Hollywood. A secretive one that very few people know about, Lake Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been there with me?
Yeah, we've been for a lovely walk at Lake Hollywood.
So Lake Hollywood is a reservoir up in like the hills overlooking Hollywood, and you get great views and there's fun houses around it. And it's weird because very few people seem to know about it, and you drive up and you park on a weird like dirt track, and you drive past a house that Justin Bieber used to live in, have crazy parties in.
Oh, yeah.
And then you park and then you walk around this reservoir, which is technically beautiful but also technically trash.
Yeah.
And like all like everything, all the weird old reservoir equipment and fences and everything.
A lot of chain link fence.
A lot of like rusting chain link fences.
Yeah.
A lot of it looks like a set from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Like everything's kind of gone a bit wrong.
Yeah, it's like a bleak Netflix sci-fi show, isn't it?
Yeah. Love it. Okay, the final place I'm going to mention in Hollywood is the Gower Gulch. Do you know about this?
What the hell is that?
Okay, so as I said, every day I go to work in Hollywood.
Right.
And our building where I work in is in this lovely redeveloped area, and it's beside like an old Art Deco building and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, if I want to go get a snack or maybe a coffee, I could go to Sugarfish downstairs, which we've talked about.
Yep.
I could go to a very annoying but very good coffee shop called Rubies and Diamonds, or as I like to call it, Rubes and Dibs. Or I could walk across Sunset Boulevard and I could go to the Gower Gulch. The Gower Gulch is like a strip mall, but it's got a Western theme. So the whole thing kind of feels like a fake Western town. And the reason being is, so it's on the intersection of Sunset Boulevard and Gower Street. And basically, originally in that area, they used to film in all the studios a lot of Westerns. And what started to happen was in the 1930s and to the 50s, actual working cowboys would come to Hollywood and they'd hang out at that intersection to try and get cast as extras in Westerns. So basically, this one little area is called Gower Gulch. And then they decided they'd run with it, and they've themed this like this strip mall in a kind of old Western theme. It's called Gower Gulch, and it's got like a Denny's, a Starbucks.
Right.
It's got one of our favorites, Kebab Daddy, where we'll go. There's something called Noodle World, which we do not go to.
Kebab Daddy.
Kebab Daddy. There's a Rite Aid, but yeah, it's all like themed as like a kind of Western thing. What? Now you've been tapping away on your iPhone. What's up?
I remembered somewhere that made my blood boil in Hollywood that I've been like driven past or gone in a lift past. It's called the Museum of Illusions. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, it's in that. It's what's on Hollywood Boulevard,
on Hollywood
near
Boulevard.
Madden Tussauds and all that
it's
kind
on
of
Hollywood
stuff.
Boulevard. The line outside of it is always insane. And I'm always like, oh, what are these people lining up for? And it makes me so furious. It is literally just like it's got a few stage set pieces where you can take Instagram pictures of like illusion stuff. I'll just show you a quick example.
It's like a museum of selfies. It's like
it's basically an Instagram museum. Like these two girls looking like they're standing on a ledge. It's really
that picture you just showed me. It's two girls standing on like a fake edge of a building, overlook as if they're like about to fall off.
Oh, okay. I've got a really good one to show you. Describe to me what this girl is doing.
She's doing a ballet move in a room that has a Hollywood backdrop, but she's standing on some weird platform, and that's bizarre. Wait a minute. Something else in the area is the Tower Records building.
Oh, yeah.
That big circular building.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the hills.
Oh, yeah.
It's where Adrena worked for a while. At Columbia Records.
Speaking of, I see a lot of places that Adrena's worked over the times. Quixote Studios, I see their,
yeah.
I see their like vans driving around, and I always think, I'm like, oh, Adrena.
Or like sometimes you
Smashbox.
see Smashbox. But didn't Low work at Smashbox?
Low worked to Smashbox.
That's right.
I've just remembered, do you remember that night when we went out? I think we were going to the cinema and went out for dinner in Hollywood, and I just kept, every time, I just kept turning around and saying, Hollywood's my playground. Do you remember?
We went and had a burger. I remember that.
For some reason that came back to me. It just makes me laugh to like just keep saying it to people. Come on, guys, let's go to Hollywood. It's my playground.
And that should be like your Insta bio.
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood's my playground.
Hollywood's my playground.
If you instead of moving to Koreatown, if you'd moved to like a studio in Hollywood, that could be your tagline. You would have your Instagram tagline would be like that red location thing.
Yeah.
And then Hollywood's my playground. Hollywood's a bit of a crazy place. It has an international reputation of like glamour and movies, which is kind of true, but also there's so many other weird sides to it as well. It is a wonderful, wonderful hot mess of a place. So the question is, what is the UK equivalent of Hollywood?
So I think it's probably the first place you think of is Piccadilly Circus and Leicester Square in London, especially Leicester Square because it's like cinemas are based there. I think that they have like, do they have handprints in Leicester Square?
Who knows?
I don't know.
They have premieres.
They have like movie premieres in Leicester Square. It's very kind of like meant to be like, oh, the glamorous, you know, cinema, film heartland of London.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's just like, you know, Bella Italia and like
the M&M store.
The M&M store, which we can't discuss that place again. And like, you know, like loads of underwhelming nightclubs that you get forced to go to when you've never been to London before.
Yeah. I agree. Those two, like, very central, very touristy, glamorous, but also really depressing.
Yeah.
And not glamorous at all.
I think this is a bit of a weird one, and you can tell me that this is probably a bit too left field, but have you ever done the Harry Potter studio tour?
No, I haven't. Because famously, I've never read or seen Harry Potter.
Of course, yes, Slytherin. But the reason I say that is because that's also got that kind of thing where it's like, I think people see pictures of people doing the Harry Potter tour and they're like, from around the country in the UK, but from like around the world, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to go to the studio where they show Harry Potter. But it's in Watford and you have to get the train to Watford. And then you get out at Watford station and you get on a bus and you drive through Watford. And it's just very like, I feel like a lot of people are like, what is that? Like, especially if you're American and you were like, I'm going to see the Harry Potter studio.
Yeah.
You'd be like, where are like the quaint London streets? Where are the cobbled streets? Where are the houses? Where are the little chimneys? It's like, you're in Watford.
Yeah. Is the tour good?
The tour's really fun.
Oh, that's good.
The most magical part is at the beginning. You sit down in a little cinema and people from the film like introduce it. They're standing outside the doors of Hogwarts. And then, so they're like these big like wooden doors. And basically the screen goes up. And behind the screen is the actual doors that they're standing in front of, like from the set, and everyone's like, and they open, and they're like, come on in. It was magical.
Is the experience better than the Harry Potter one in Hollywood in NBC?
Yes.
NBC, Universal Studios, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
okay.
It's feels a lot more authentic.
Okay, I also was wondering about the UK equivalent of Hollywood being Blackpool.
Oh.
Because there's something like back in the day, Blackpool in the UK was a kind of glitzy and showbiz.
Yeah.
And it still has like a bright lights reputation, but then in reality, it's a little bit terrifying. And wait a minute. Isn't there a Madame Tussauds in Blackpool as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, there is. Okay, so where are we going to go with this? What is the UK equivalent of Hollywood?
Okay, I would, if we're going to just narrow it down to a simple hybrid, I would say that the UK equivalent of Hollywood would be if you put Leicester Square in the middle of Blackpool.
I think that's really good. Done.
Cool.
You're welcome.
Bye.
We are back. Okay, you know that in every ep we tackle an American topic. I just did. I tackled Hollywood. And now we're going to tackle a British topic. Fraser, you're up. What you talking about?
I got a man with 2 left feet, and when he dances not to the beat, I really think that he should know that his rhythms go, go, go. Does he wash up? Never wash up. Does he clean up? No, he never cleans up. Does he brush up? Never brushed up. He does nothing. The boy does nothing.
Anyway.
Do we have that on our playlist, songs to swing your arms to? Because it's very...
Oh, it has to go on there.
Yeah.
So,
What's your topic?
My topic this week is Alesha Dixon. So the reason I am doing Alesha Dixon this week is because I think on the last episode we touched on it about how strange it is that over here in America, on America's Got Talent, The Champions, Alesha Dixon is one of the judges. And I can tell you I've done a straw poll of some Americans and I've said, do you know who Alesha Dixon is? And they've said, who? Huh? Who? Pardon? What? So I think genuinely we've reached another great point where I really need to explain who she is to the people of America.
And also, this just harps back to one of our favorite moments in pop culture history of when Cheryl came to the US to do X Factor USA.
So let's do a little bit of backstory about Alesha Dixon. So as always, I'm going to read her Wikipedia introduction, and this is going to give everyone a little overview. Alesha Anjanette Dixon is an English singer, rapper, songwriter, dancer, author, model, and television personality. And then we get our first little piece about her, which is she rose to fame in 2001 as a member of the all-female R&B garage rap group Mystique. It's very important for people who have never heard of Mystique to know that their name is spelled MIS-TEEQ.
I feel like Mystique, one of their songs was on a soundtrack in America. I feel like they may have had one song that in like 2001 was on like the Bring It On soundtrack. Do you know what I mean?
I think so, but also you know that you're going to get that confused with the song from a song by the Honeys that was on the Nutty Professor 2 The Clumps soundtrack. Remember?
What song was that?
Oh my God, this was a very important point of our friendship. Do you not remember? It was that, it was called I'm Not Gonna Trip. I'm not even gonna trip about it. Remember? And it was on the same soundtrack as that Janet Jackson song. Doesn't matter what you do.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember the video for I'm Not Even Gonna Trip. Was it quite colourful?
It's colourful, and they're
Yes.
like smashing things in like a room. Anyway, we're not talking about the Honeys.
Not today.
We're talking about Mystique. So, I'm just going to give you a fun little bit of backstory on Alesha, which I didn't realise till I read her Wikipedia. Her first job was at Ladbrokes, which is a betting shop. How do you describe a bet? They don't have them here, do they? How do people bet here?
Yeah, if you want to go bet on like the races.
Jesse? Yeah? If you wanted to gamble on like a sports game, how do you do it?
You have to go to a state that has legalized sports betting.
Do we have that in California?
Okay, so you...
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So you have to be in a state where you can bet on sports games.
But wait, if you are in a state where you can bet on sports games, how do you do it? Oh,
Okay, well, okay.
And all to say, no Ladbrokes.
No Ladbrokes. They said also she aspired to become a PE teacher after leaving college. So she even took a diploma in sports sciences. Isn't that exciting?
that's nice.
But then when she was at some dance classes in London, she was approached by a talent scout.
And she took the ultimate gamble.
Oh, and I think it was at the Fulham Dance Attic, from when I remember this. So basically, 1999, she met Sabrina, who is another member of Mystique, when they were at the Dance Attic in Fulham, and they decided to form a group when they spotted Sue Elise auditioning for another girl group. So the three of them, and then they formed a girl group and were signed by a record label, and the record label added a member called Zena McNally. Yeah, they used to be 4 members of Mystique.
I didn't know that.
And then basically, in 2001, they released their first single, Why. Now, the fun thing about Why is that it was initially released as an R&B song, and it got like barely any attention. And then that song was remixed. There was a garage remix of Why, and that is their first song that got like chart success. So it was out for like a few months before the garage remix came out. I'm just going to give you a little hit of the song.
You bring me flowers. No.
It's the remix.
Oh.
Anyway, so then that song is what kind of got them kind of chart attention. And the most important thing is you just heard in that little clip there was Alesha's role in the group was really solidified. So they were a girl group that did like R&B, and then garage became their kind of alternate style of music. We've definitely talked about garage music before on this podcast. It's very specific. And then Alesha's role was defined as the group's rapper. So she's started being known for her very distinctive style of rapping, like as you just heard on there. It's the remix. So that was their first single, Why. I don't I don't know if we can go into absolutely every single song that Mystique has ever done, because this is not an episode about Mystique, it's about Alesha. But I will say that basically they had like pretty good success in the UK, didn't they? Mystique, they were a big deal.
Yeah, they were like a garage version of Destiny's Child.
Yes,
but on a
exactly.
much smaller. They were like solid success, not like Spice Girls, not massive, but just solid.
Yeah, and like most of their songs didn't really go outside of the UK. So like if you're from the UK, you know, like for example, the song All I Want. Anyway.
Well, I feel like all I want just to be with you.
Yeah.
I feel like an Ayia Napa. They must have played.
very
I feel
Ayia
like garage
Napa.
music really made its way to Ayia Napa.
It did. And
Ayia
then-
Napa, Ayia Napa.
And then basically, I think they only really had one song, which I looked on Spotify has a US radio edit. So I think this is the only song of theirs that I think American people will have heard of. And in fact, Jesse, will you tell me if you recognize this song?
So scandalous.
Any of that sound familiar?
That's not the original version of that,
Wait, what?
What?
isn't it?
Yeah.
As far as
That's the US radio edit. Are you saying, Jesse, that you know the UK version more than the US radio edit?
so scandalous. Let
Let me give you the chorus, Jesse. Hang on.
The two of us, a one night stand just ain't enough.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I know that song.
Okay, great. See, Scandalous was what got a touch of US attention, but I think that, you know, no one's going to be like naming the members of Mystique. It says in 2004 they released that as their debut single here in America, and then they released an album that was like a compilation of both of their albums they'd already released. So I just don't think people in America cared.
Wait a minute. It was also featured as the theme of the film Catwoman, starring Halle Berry.
Yes, I forgot that was on there.
In
Yes.
addition to appearing on Grand Theft Auto 5 and the Armani Code perfume commercials.
Yes.
That's why people might know it.
Oh, of course, because so many people saw Catwoman.
No, but like the Armani Code perfume,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
see what they look like.
Yeah. And then, you know, just a few quick extra points about Mystique. After the success of their debut album, 2003, saw Mystique becoming the faces of JD Sports nationwide.
That tracks.
That really tracks.
That feels really good. JD Sports, what is that here? I mean, maybe Foot Locker.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
I'm going to up the game. I think it was a bit...
We have Foot Locker in the UK.
I know, but we only got Foot Locker not that long ago in
That's
the UK.
true, that's true.
It felt like the UK version of Foot Locker.
Okay, fine. And then here is when things took a turn for the better for our Alesha. So she was known as the rapper of the group. She was also kind of the breakout star of Mystique, don't you think?
Oh, definitely.
Because she had that distinctive kind of rapping style, and
she's beautiful.
She's beautiful. And then what really tipped her over the edge was in 2004. We discussed this on the last episode. She was featured in the NERD song "She Wants to Move."
Sure.
Boom, 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 boom. I don't have that song. I'm just gonna sing it to you.
So she was just like the hot female dancer in the video.
Yeah. She stood on I remember she was on a podium and the camera was just going round and round while she like shakes her thing in like a little slinky dress.
Yeah.
Oh, she looks so good in that video.
It was like she was really being positioned to crack the US market.
This is all kind of 2004, 2005. The group actually disbanded in 2005. This is a little dicey, but I'm going to just mention it for a separate reason. She was also famously married to MC Harvey from the So Solid crew,
That's
who were
right.
a kind of a rap group from the UK from that period of time. But they broke up in 2006. They got divorced after he was caught having an affair with Javine.
Harvey and Javine. So Harvey was in So Solid Crew. Javine was a runner-up from our beloved pop stars, The Rivals,
Yes.
or
Or-
Pop
but-
Stars.
No, Pop Stars, The Rivals. She was almost in Girls Aloud.
She was almost in Girls Aloud.
Favorite Javine song? Quick sidebar. Favorite Javine song? I know mine.
It's not about what you want to know. Time is now, and that's for sure. Damn you, crazy.
Okay, so the reason you were mentioning "Surrender" by Javine, that was her
Yes.
second single.
Thank you.
That's my favorite song. Me and Caroline,
AKA Black Lace.
Black Lace. When we were at university, it was mine and her. Me and her loved that song, and we once put on a performance for our friends, which involved, I think it was getting up on the windowsill in her room in halls, having her little lamp as a spotlight, and you had to close the curtains. And then the idea was at the beginning of this song, it's got a very like glamorous beginning bit. You'd have to like stick your leg out of the curtains and then push the curtains back, and like we would like lip sync this. I'm just gonna play you a little bit of this.
Yeah.
You know what? It's time for you to surrender your love. Anyway,
What you want to know, the time is now, and that's for show.
this is a really good video. It's really fun.
I remember there's lots of mirrors and things. aren't there?
It's just really good dancing in it. Anyway, I think it's pretty offensive of us on an episode about Alesha Dixon to have talked for so long about Javine. So really quickly, in 2005, she released two of her first two songs. Do you remember what either of those two songs were?
Oh wait, is one of them The Boy Does Nothing?
No. She released two songs from an album before The Boy Does Nothing came
I don't
out.
remember.
So her first single was, I'm playing a lot of music in this episode. This was her first single.
You ready?
It's called Lipstick. This is actually a really good song.
Whoa.
I like all the noises in the background that sound like people hitting metal bins.
It's like a production of Stomp is going on.
Do you want to hear the chorus a little
Yeah.
bit? I think. Yeah.
That's an awful song.
I'd actually call it a wall of noise. I really liked that song when it came out. I remember like having it on like some weird illegal MP3 like player that I downloaded from like a weird LimeWire knockoff or something. Anyway, so her first song was Lipstick, and then she had a follow-up single called Knockdown. Do you remember that song?
As soon as you play it, I'll remember it. I love this song.
Yeah. Shall I get to the chorus for it?
Oh my god, I know exactly what it is. Knockdown. Everybody get a bum bum.
Hang on.
Everybody, what now?
So those were her first two singles, and the big thing that was different is that she was singing, and because she used to sing in Mystique but also do the raps, whereas she was mostly singing in her singles. So those were her first two songs, and you know they did like okay, like people were like, oh, she's kind of, you know, she's a pop star, she's kind of fun. Then 2007 came along. She took part in Strictly Come Dancing. That changed everything. She won that season of Strictly Come Dancing, obviously US translation, Dancing with the Stars, and that's when her career like blew up from being like, oh, she's this girl from like a girl group, that's fine, whatever, and she became like pretty like UK like super famous, right?
Yeah.
So she that's where she signed a new record contract, and that's when she released your least favorite song ever made, The Boy Does Nothing. A clunky clunk clunk, clunky clunk clunk.
Which we've already played at the top of this segment, and we do not need to play again.
Oh, you don't want to hear it again?
No, please, no.
No, don't worry, I'm not going to play it again. But why do you hate that song so much?
It's just so hokey cokey, happy clappy. It makes me really.
Am I doing this? Is this dance move something that reminds you of it?
Fraser's doing sort of like dapper 1920s like shaking of hands dancing.
We'll do a little recording of that for Instagram.
For the social.
For the social.
It feels very like it reminds me of being a time where we would go out to clubs a lot, and if that song came on, as soon as it started playing, I was like, I know exactly how everyone's going to start dancing, and it's horrible. I think that's why I hated it.
Yeah, absolutely. So based on kind of the fame that she had from Strictly, that was 2007. She released a couple of songs. She released another song called Breathe Slow. It's more of a ballad. I'm not a fan. I'm not even going to play a clip of it.
Yeah,
I feel like
fine.
it's worth it. And then controversially, in 2009, she replaced one of the judges on Strictly. And that was a big deal at the time because she'd won the show, but she'd won as an amateur dancer. She then replaced one of the judges and was meant to be an expert, and there was a lot of hoo-ha about her replacing Arlene Phillips. Do you remember that? The hoo-ha? Do you remember the hoo-ha?
The Arlene Phillips hoo-ha.
The Arlene Phillips, Alesha Dixon hoo-ha.
But I think that she deserved that role.
I do, and she like, her personality is really, she's got a great personality, especially for TV. Like, she's really lively, energetic, she's really fun, she's really likable, she's really attractive. She's like a rare package of like, kind of she's kind of like, I don't want to say this, but she's like a star, isn't she?
And also she also like gets it, and she like jokes about Mystique, and if you're going to talk, she goes on a talk show, they're like, oh, go on, do one of your fun raps, and she'll like do a rap and make a noise. Like she gets it.
She's very fun.
Yeah.
So that kind of propelled her fame even further, because it wasn't just that she'd won Strictly, she was now a judge on Strictly. So
now bearing in mind, you said there's the big hoo-ha about becoming the judge on Strictly.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
oh well. Then
Strictly on the BBC.
Yeah, so she was on the BBC of Strictly, and then in 2012, she just finished the 9th series of Strictly, had wrapped. She quit and became a judge on Britain's Got Talent.
So
on
like
different channels.
Like a rival network.
Yeah,
it's
rival
like she
network.
really jumped, like after sort of getting that place, never being hoo-ha, and then settling in, she then jumped ship. I'm guessing for a much bigger check.
Oh, absolutely.
Good for
Simon
her.
Cowell money. That's big time.
Psycho money.
So then she became a judge on Britain's Got Talent. Obviously, we know America's Got Talent is the translation of that. And that's kind of, musically, it does say that she's released another album. Again, I didn't look into it because I don't remember any of those songs.
She, about 4 years ago, she released a single that I thought was kind of fun. I remember I was vaguely trying to do Twitter at the time, and I tweeted saying, oh, this song's actually not bad. And then she replied, like, thanks.
You never told me that. Okay, that makes me feel a bit sad. And then, that's kind of, I'm aware that I've just stopped in 2012 and it's now 2020, but things have been pretty steady for her in the sense of like, she's got married, she's had kids, she's kept her job at Britain's Got Talent. She's just a very like a permanent fixture as a UK celebrity.
Yeah.
I also just found this really fun on, her Wikipedia page. It just says Dixon was criticised for forgetting the words to God Save the Queen while performing at the 2015 British Grand Prix. It just really made me laugh.
I feel like, for the past 8 years, she's had that solid yearly job of Britain's Got Talent, which does well and people like or whatever, gets a decent paycheck from that, but then surrounding that probably goes and sings at a Grand Prix and has like, I don't know, like a clothing deal with Lipsy and all those things, and earns like solid, decent money.
She's very like, do you remember when the UK version of Lip Sync Battle came out? And like, they were like, lip sync battles in the UK, look who we've got. And it was, I can't remember who the other person was, but it was someone and her. It was Alesha Dixon and someone else are the first two people.
Oh, really?
And it's very like, I feel like she's near the top of the list of like, anytime people want to do something in the UK for like a TV show, they're like, oh, let's try and get Alesha Dixon. Like, she's like a big deal in the UK, for sure.
She's very solid. She's not like, for a TV show, she's not an exciting booking.
So I was trying to think of the US equivalent of Alesha Dixon. So I have got someone in mind, and you tell me if you think this is incorrect.
Okay.
So I was thinking, you mentioned them earlier, Destiny's Child. They were pretty much the UK version of Destiny's Child, and I think that I'm going to say Kelly Rowland. And I'll tell you why. Solo success, but not super successful, but enough songs that people like remember fondly. Kelly Rowland's solo career.
Yeah.
And then Kelly Rowland was also an X Factor judge in the UK.
Yeah.
Which kind of, she's done that like judging on like talent shows, that kind of thing. I would say the personalities don't completely line up and match, but I feel like they exist in the same space of like fame and prominence as each other in our respective countries.
Okay, I'm going to throw a weird curveball
Okay.
at you. Nicole Scherzinger.
I agree with that, but I just think we have picked her before for something else.
She's so versatile.
She's so versatile. I feel like we're always going to Nicole Scherzinger because she's got that kind of translation between the two countries. So I think it's more specifically Kelly Rowland because I think the fame in the individual countries is the same kind of
the same
situation.
level.
Yeah.
Okay, I accept that.
Okay, so the US equivalent of Alesha Dixon is Kelly Rowland.
You're welcome. Okay, as ever, we finish up the episode playing a game of Welcome Not Welcome, where we list very British or very American things, and we say whether they're welcome or not, i.e. whether we like them or not. Fraser, you're up first. Welcome or not welcome?
Okay, welcome or not welcome. Corner shops. So in the UK, a corner shop is just we call them newsagents or corner shops. It is basically just like a little convenience store is what they call them here.
Or a bodega.
Or a bodega if you're in New York. But they are, especially in London, are everywhere. And because you're on foot in London, they are very handy when you're like, oh, I'm just going to get some gum. And you just pop in and pick up a little pack of gum.
Get some gum, top up your oyster.
Top up your Oyster card. I really, really miss a corner shop or a newsagent since I moved here.
And sometimes the corner shops can actually be a little bit special and have a really good fruit and veg.
Yes, or have like really specific type of like a weird like variety of crisps that you've never tried before. Like
Totally.
when I used to live in that place in Dulwich, that's where I discovered peanut puffs, which were like cheese puffs that were peanut flavored.
Yes,
they're a bit more like everywhere now, but at the time I found them there.
I got into plantain chips heavily one time.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
welcome. Okay, welcome or not welcome, sticky toffee pudding.
Oh, I love a sticky toffee
Do
pudding.
you love a sticky toffee pudding? This really is a precursor to the Burns supper episode.
Oh.
Because we may be having it at Burns. And I was speaking to my dad this morning, and he told me that sticky toffee pudding is from a place in Scotland, apparently.
Okay.
A hotel in Aberdeen.
What
you
is
can't, you can't remember the name of it. What is it?
Yeah, what is
sticky
it?
toffee pudding is like... It's like a gooey sponge cake that has like a sticky toffee sauce.
Yeah.
And you'd always serve it heated, and you have to serve it with some ice cream.
Yeah, like a vanilla ice cream.
Oh, yeah, just like a round scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Oh,
Love it.
welcome.
Welcome.
Oh, yeah. Welcome or not welcome, Carl's Jr. Now, why do I bring up Carl's Jr.?
Because it's too close to your new apartment, and you're worried that you're going to go there 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I have, since I moved in on Wednesday of this week, it is now Sunday, I have been twice to Carl's Jr.
Twice? You didn't tell me that earlier.
I know, I lied about it earlier. I've already been there. I've been there twice.
I've never been to a Carl's Jr. It's a burger chain.
Yeah, it's just a burger chain. There's nothing special about it, but I have to say not welcome because I need it to go.
No.
I can't have it this close to my house.
No, I'm going to say not welcome. Never been, but I don't want it for you.
Although Carl's Jr. was the burger... I think it was the burger chain that used to do the sexy ads back in the day. Do you remember it would be like Paris Hilton eating a burger?
Oh, yeah.
That was Carl's Jr.
And there was like a crown. Isn't there like a little king wearing a crown is like the symbol or something? Or have I made that up?
That's Burger King.
Oh. Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's move on. Welcome or not welcome. Having to do laundry in a laundrette or laundry room.
Oh my god. Oh, people do not know the struggle. The Los Angeles struggle of laundry is real.
It's so weird. So people always think America's so advanced and like all about service and convenience. And yet most apartment buildings here, you do not have a washing machine in your apartment.
Yeah, and
you either have to go to a laundry room in your building and share it with other people, or go to a laundrette.
I've been, you tell me about it. I've been laundretting and using, building laundry rooms since I moved here, and I will continue to do it in my new place.
And what's even crazier is I'm sure the laundry room in your new building, it was the same building that, like, a similar building to Jesse and I used to live in, to operate those machines, you have to put in coins, quarters.
Yeah.
Like it's the past.
I will say, I did go and sneak and look at my laundry room, and they have fitted a thing where you swipe your debit card and you can use the washing machines like that. That's pretty good.
I mean, next up is Apple Pay.
But Americans find it insane that any rented flat apartment that you move into in London pretty much has a washing machine in it as standard.
Yeah,
and
totally.
They're like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway.
Not welcome.
No, not welcome. My final one, welcome or not welcome, the 197 bus route in London.
I don't know this bus route. It sounds very South London. Southeast?
It's Southeast London.
Dulwich?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really just mentioned this one because it's just a little thing that I miss. It's a very specific bus in London that starts at my friend Charlie's flat, and you get on it there.
CLC?
At CLC's, it would start at CLC's flat is where you get onto it. And it actually used to come past my old flat, so then I would get on it. Then it would pass Nina's flat, other podcast guest.
Aww.
And then you'd stay on it, and it would end up at our friend Emily's house. So if we ever were doing something together, we could all pick each other up along the way.
That's really nice.
And we even have a WhatsApp group called the 197 bus, and we message each other on it. We're like, oh, we miss each other. They take pictures of ourselves on the bus and send it to each other.
That's very welcome.
Yeah, that's welcome. I just
like
miss
that.
them.
Okay, welcome or not welcome, using the word squint. Now, not like you're squinting your eyes, but if, say, for example, there's a picture hanging in the wall and it's not straight, in Scotland you say, oh, it's squint.
That is Scotland only, my friend.
So for example, it's such a thing in Scotland that in Glasgow there's a bridge that goes not directly across the river, it goes across the river at like an angle.
Yep. It's
called the Squinty Bridge.
Scotland is such a strange place. At what point you're really going to have to just break down the whole of Scotland for us?
Or just a topic one week.
Topic will be Scotland. Yeah, genuinely.
Okay, well, Squinty Bridge.
I like it. It's welcome.
It's kind of cute. Welcome. Okay.
In Norfolk, they would say it's on the huh.
Wait, what?
That would be the equivalent of
On the huh?
Yeah, the Norfolk equivalent of squinty.
Wait, how are you
is-
spelling that huh?
I'm not really sure. I don't know if I've ever seen it written down. I think it might be H-U-H.
So wait, can you use it in a sentence? Use it in the sentence about the bridge, please.
In a Norfolk accent?
Yes.
How you seen that bridge? That's on the huh.
Oh, okay. On the huh.
Oh, so judgmental of my culture. Okay, fine. Anyway.
That's been Your Welcome America. Please get in touch on our Instagram with your questions, comments, harassment, whatever you want. It's Your Welcome America on Instagram. Follow us on Spotify podcasts. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And remember, You're Welcome. New year, new You're Welcome America. We need to replace Theresa May. We need to replace Theresa May at the top of the show. So do get in touch. Imperative for the future of the podcast.
Yes.
So please get in touch with a British or American clip or soundbite that you think we can just pop into the opening of the show.
Preferably with no music behind it because it's really difficult to use. Thank you.
Okay, great. That's been it. And is there anything we don't want? No, I wasn't going to do it.
Because it's a new year.
Yeah, it's a new year. So
how do we sign off now?
I don't know. You tell me. You axed fucking Anne Robinson.
Bye.
You're so far up your ass, I think you can smell your own shit!
Where are you from, Josie?
South Shields.
I thought.
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
But let me be clear.
I enjoy cooking bacon and stuff, working with flour.